All right. Hello, everybody there in internet land, and hello to everybody that's here at the class. My name is Jamaal Murphy. I'm here to teach you a little bit about credit, but first, I want to say thank you to Brother Don Burton for having me in the Collective Summit. It's really, truly an honor to be here. We must use these resources the way that we can to make sure we need to go where we need to go. This is a beautiful thing here, and I can't wait till everybody finds out about it, and I cannot wait and not foresee that this building will be jumping in the next 30 days. That's what we're doing it. But hello to you, and happy Saturday. I'm here to teach you a little bit about credit, but first let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jamal. Like I said before, I was a father. I'm a father of three with two failed relationships. I was living with my grandmother, and I did not know where to go. I did not finish my college education. I was on a drastic slope down. In other words, I was going nowhere fast and going 20 miles over the speed limit trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? But I really didn't like where I was at that point in time. I really didn't feel like a man. You know, when you don't have no place where your kids could come and stay, when you can't get in your own car and pick them up, or, you know, your grandma's looking at you and you're hurting her heart, and your family's wondering what happened to all that potential, it really hits home. But I got with a group of great people, especially the people here at the Collective Summit, and some of my mentors, the Credit Cartel, the heavy impact, heavy hitters from out of Chicago, and I got mentorship. And in that mentorship, they started to work on my finances, right? Because good finances helps your self-esteem, right? When you're able to get stuff for your kids, it brings you a lot of joy. I remember at the gas pump, I opened up my wallet and I looked at my wallet and there was a whole bunch of receipts and no money. I think it was like a little penny in the corner, right? It wasn't a good feeling, but now I'm just so excited because I got my things together. I'm renting to own my own home. I got 3 cars now. My kids are all in college. I help fund their college education. Got one that's in grad school, got one that's going into college, and I'm here with my son, or my son somewhere around here. He's not actually in the building, but I have him full time because his mother passed away, but I'm able to provide him shelter. So that's a great thing. You know, food, clothing, shelter, all those things. But one of the ways that I was able to do it, I was able to leverage my credit. That's right. A lot of us don't know what our credit score is, or really don't understand how credit works. I just want to let you know that 4 out of 5 people, especially here in Southern West Virginia, got less than perfect credit. That's right. They're 699 or below, right? 3 out of 5 of us got gas prices. Our credit score look like gas prices. But I'm here and I'm really excited to give this information to you on behalf of the Collective Summit. Thank you for the people that came. I really love it. I'm blushing and I'm really excited to get this thing off and going, okay? So first of all, I'm going to give you a little credit about history, okay? A little history about credit and why it matters. Well, credit matters because 70 to 90% of all of your decisions, financial decisions, is going to depend on credit. That's right, 70 to 90% of all of your financial credit or your financial decisions is going to depend on your credit score. So you can't buy a house without credit, you can't get a mortgage without credit, you can't do nothing today without credit. And we're going to tell you, where did it develop from? Well, the earliest forms of credit came from ancient Mesopotamia. They did loans and for their livestock and their grains. In other words, somebody came to you and said, hey, if you let me borrow your livestock, I'll give you some tomatoes, right? So they created this bartering system, and that bartering system was the earliest forms of credit, right? They knew or they could borrow off of what they had, whether it was livestock, whether it was land, But one thing that hits home to me, especially about credit, is that the earliest forms of credit here in the United States of America was slavery, right? A lot of the slave owners used to lend out their slaves for livestock, or for whatever that they needed. If they needed tomatoes, they would let the slaves work somebody else's land so they can get that credit or that bartering system down, right? It was like a trust system. It was just a trust system. Well, coming up out of slavery, the modern credit basically birthed out of the Diners Club. That was the first credit card. Then you had the Bank of America, that's still going, and later Visa. That was the 1960s. 1970s is when the Fair Credit Reporting Act established rules for credit, right? So they can be able to utilize, and monitor people's credits, right? So they formed Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and about 1989, the FICO score was created. The FICO score is when you look at your credit, it says whether it's 329, 400, 500, 600, all the way up to 800, right? You can have a credit score of 800. Today, credit scoring, again, affects and impacts your mortgages, loans, and your job. Most people don't know that in order to get hired in some fields, they will look at your financial background, right? Because it tells them if you're trustworthy or not. Right? So what exactly is credit? Credit is borrowing money with a promise to pay. Now, how many of us had somebody say, hey, Brother Don, loan me $5, $10, till Tuesday. And he said, I don't know, last time I loaned you $5, $10, I'm still waiting on it. Well, that's what credit is, right? I'm going to make sure that I pay Brother Don back. Why? Because Brother Don might have it in his heart to loan you some more money, right? So that's what kind of credit is. The forms of credit, you got credit cards, auto loans, mortgages, personal loans, things of that nature, payday loans, anything where you're promising to pay later, okay? Now, what comprises of credit? There's 5 factors, right? And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. I'm going to stay on this topic a little bit longer because this is where we fail the most in our communities, right? The first factor is payment history. That's right. Payment history. Did you pay your bills or did you not pay your bills? This comprises of 35% of your FICO score. This is the biggest bulk of the credit factor that affects your FICO score. If you pay your bills on time, right? A lot of us in our communities, we don't pay our bills on time. Therefore, it leads us to lower credit scores because that's the biggest bulk. When you go into banks, when you go to see lenders, they want to know that, hey, you're going to pay us back on time or before time, right? The second part of the 5 credit factors that affects the credit score is your credit utilization. How much do you use your credit, right? Let me give you an example. If you had a credit card and you had $1,000 on your credit card, it is wise and it is smart financial things to only use 30% of that credit card. That's right. So if you had $1,000, you can only use $300 before it reports negatively on your credit report, right? So make sure you remember that. Credit utilization has to be below 30%. 30% is good, but if you underneath 10%, then you're on the road to 800 as a credit score. Length of credit history. How long have you had credit, right? This is one thing that plagues our community as well. Many other people, they come into their adolescence and to their late teens, and their father or their mother might add them as an authorized user on their credit card. Well, why do they do this? It's to establish a credit history, right? Because the length of your credit and how long you had credit is 15% of the factor that affects your credit score. So if you're 45 and you just now establishing credit, then you got some work to do, but there's ways to get around that, and we'll discuss that later, okay? Credit mix. You have to have a mixture. When lenders see you, they want to make sure that you're dipping and dabbling, kind of like a portfolio. You got to have a diverse portfolio, right? You got to have some trade lines, some credit cards, some revolving debt, right? Some loans, some maybe mortgage or things of that nature. When you have that mixture, it is positively reflected on your credit score, right? And the fifth one, 10% is about your new credit, right? How much new credit do you have, and have you been accepted for? The ones that I want you to pay attention in this class today is payment history and credit utilization. That is 65% of your FICO score. This is where we go wrong. Normally, we don't pay our bills on time, right? And then two, we're so much in debt that we can't catch up. So our debt to income ratio is way above 30%, okay? Again, why does it matter? Why does it matter that you keep these good habits? Well, like I said before, I didn't have a home for my children to come to. Credit matters because you can leverage that credit, buy a home, get low interest rates. That means interest rate is how much you pay on the dollar. So if your interest rate is high, the higher you're going to have to pay on your loan. If it's low, the lower you want to pay on your loan. To start a business, if you start a business and when you first get started, they leverage your credit or they use your credit to see how credit worthy you are in your business and to access jobs again in insurance. If you want good insurance rates, right, you have to have good credit, okay? We don't want you out there going without insurance because you have a low credit score. So these are things to pay attention, and this is why this class is so important. And we thank the Collective Summit for really having us here today, okay? I got some myths versus facts. A lot of us know about credit, but do we really know about credit, okay? One of the myths is closing old accounts helps. Well, no. Matter of fact, it can hurt your score, right? Credit history, right? So if you close those old accounts, you're closing that old history, right? It's better to keep those old accounts open, pay on them, get them down, and pay them to zero and just have them. Just because you got credit or credit cards don't mean you have to use it, right? But we're leveraging it as a tool. The second myth, checking credit lowers it. That is not true, right? Only hard inquiries do. If you go to a car lot or something like that, most likely you're going to go and you're going to try to get a loan for the car. Well, when they check your loan and try to get you that loan product, what they do is they check your credit and they do what we call a hard inquiry. And these hard inquiries are about 7 points each. So I don't know if you've ever been to a car lot. Man, last time I went, they ran my credit about 15 times. And that's 7 to 10 points each time. 3 to 7 points each time that they ran it. So if you think 15 times 3 is what, 45 points. So that's the difference from me having a 600 or a 665. You know, it's different. Some of the good, healthy credit habits that you must have. Again, pay your bills, ladies and gentlemen. Pay them. Just pay them. You know, you got to pay to play. That's all it is. There's smart ways to do it. Sometimes you might get behind or things like that. We understand that. But there's things like Sizzle, Zip, Klarna that you can use to help finance your bills to 4 easy payments. You might only have $25 at that time. Utilize these tools. And in my package that I have here today, I have some of those tools. Or you can come back to the Collective Summit website and we'll list them there, okay? Keep your balances again below 30% utilization. Check your reports annually, okay? Annually. For those that's out there that's doing it, that's actively doing it now, go ahead and go to www.annualcreditreports.com. You're able to get one free report a year. There's no reason why you can't do it. In that free report, we're going to show you how to check your credit report and what to look for. And again, make sure you diversify your credit. Get a bunch of different types, okay? All right, now people ask me, they say, Jamal, Freedom, Coach, what exactly is credit repair? It's the process of fixing errors, improving your score, right? While you repair your credit, you leverage legal rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? This is a law that was set in place. Basically, it came about because of the mortgage industry, and they wanted to make sure that people were able to get mortgage loans fairly, that people wasn't overlooking people because they might look a certain way or something like that. So they created the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? Some of the common report errors that you're going to look for once you pull up your annual report is wrong names and addresses. Now I know what you're saying, Jamal, Coach, what does this have to do with my credit? Well, each wrong name, each address, each wrong telephone number that you have on your credit report reports directly to a debt, right? And anything that's inaccurate on your credit report must be voided, right? So if the name is spelled improperly, that is a mistake upon them. That is not you. My name is not Jamal. My name is Jamal. I do not own this debt, right? Jamal owns that debt. So this is important. This is one of the first steps and one of the easiest steps that you can take. And again, if you want some of these free template letters, you can report back to the Collective Summit and we'll get some to you, okay? Accounts that don't belong to you. You look on there and you got an account from Jack of Spades. Well, I never had Jack of Spades. That is an error. Get it off. Get it off. It does not belong to you. See, we go a long period of time without checking our credit reports, and they make errors just like anybody else, and these errors end up harming you in the long run. Remember, we're trying to close the gap to ownership, right? Paid debts. Sometimes we pay off these credit cards, and they don't get reported, right? These are mistakes that's on your credit report. They can be taken off. And also duplicate accounts, right? Sometimes they'll put an account on your credit report and then you go down the line, they'll have the same account on there. That's a duplicate account, but guess what? They're counting that twice against you. We can get that off, right? So I know what you're saying. Okay, you gave me a little bit of history about credit, and that's good. I understand what the Fair Credit Reporting Act is. And my utilization has to be below 30%, okay? But what truly is some of the steps to credit repair? Well, guess what? We're going to give you something right here. That's right. That we're going to give you to you. We want you to get all of this free sauce because if we teach you how to fish, we was just talking about this. If I fish for you, right? You're only going to eat for that day because we're going to catch maybe 5 fish, all right? But if I teach you how to fish, then you can go down to that river when I'm not around and you can feed yourself. That's why knowledge is important. That's why this class and many other classes that's given here in this building should not be overlooked because we are going somewhere. We are the changes that we're seeking out. And it starts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some free sauce, okay? Now, what's the first step? All right? I hope you're writing that down. Make sure you're writing that down so you'll know, okay? Or you can put this on replay, but if you write it down and make it plain, then it kind of sticks in your mind, right? See, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being sick and tired, right? In my neighborhoods, I look at some of the houses and they haven't changed in 40 years. I look at some of the dilapidated buildings and they're just there and there's nothing to do about it. I look at some of the commercial buildings and there's no occupancy. And why? Because we're not leveraging our credit. So either we can keep on doing what we've been doing and allow people to move into these buildings that rightfully so should be ours, because our grandfather was in that building. Our grandfather's grandfather probably built that building, right? So those buildings actually belong to us. We shouldn't throw things to the wayside because we don't have knowledge, right? So always seek out knowledge. So the first step we're going to do to repair our credit is we're going to get all three reports. That's right, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. We're going to get all three. Again, www.annualcreditreport.com. You can pull all three credit reports once a year for free, okay? And now once you get those credit reports, okay, you want to take a look at the credit reports. You want to get you a yellow highlighter, okay? Pink for you, okay? You go ahead and do pink, all right? But you want to get a yellow highlighter, and you want to skim your credit report, and you want to review it for some of the errors that I just talked about, right? Things that's been reported twice. Old addresses and misspelled names, old telephone numbers. You want to look for some of these things, right? You want to look for things that's been paid off or things that's went to collections. All of these negative things that affect you, right? And then what you're going to do, you're going to dispute inaccuracies, right? In other words, all those things that I just mentioned, we're going to contact the credit bureaus, all three of them, and we're going to say, hey, I need you to basically show me how I'm responsible for this debt, right? The Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 609, allows us to do that, right? It allows us to go to the people who believe that we owe them and ask them to provide us with, number one, the original contract, wet signature, right? Most people don't know this. Now, I'm going to give you a little sauce here. Most people don't know this, but things like phone bills or things of that nature where there's only one signature on the contract is not void. In other words, in order for a contract to be standing, it has to have two signatures, one from the debtor and one from the creditor, right? So does everybody understand that? Let me get a little sip of coffee. Matter of fact, Brother Don makes the best coffee. Come on down here and get you some. And it's just such a beautiful building right here, man. I lie to you not. It's a lot of resources down here. And I'm just so proud of the people in my community, man. They're really giving people chances out here. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. Again, you want to dispute these inaccuracies. You want to go to the credit bureaus and you want to say, hey, you know, I don't own that debt. I need you to prove that I own that debt. Now, the credit bureaus have how many days to get back to you? Does anybody know? You know? Is that a no? Okay. The credit bureaus, by law, have 30 days. Okay? 30 days to get back with you to let you know or to validify that the debt is real, right? They have 30 days, okay? The whole process takes about 40 days because you got 2 weeks grace period so you can send or for the communication, right? In case they're mailing, they give you 2 weeks. So in 40 days, you should be able to know whether that debt is real or it belongs to you or not. And the burden of proof is on the credit bureaus, right? How do they say in law? you're innocent until proven guilty, right? It's the same thing in the credit world, right? If they get back to you and they say, hey, you own this, and they don't provide you with the original contract, they don't provide you with unsustainable proof that you own it, then they must delete that debt in 30 days. Again, make sure you write that down. If they do not prove, after you contact the credit bureaus, that you own that debt, they must, by law, FCRA, delete that debt from your credit, right? Now, what about the things that's on your credit that you might owe, right? But they might be off a little bit. When this one says you owe $1,000, hey, I only owe $500, right? Or you own that debt and you can't get it off your debt. What do? You want to negotiate payoff debts, right? A lot of times credit bureaus and these creditors, what they'll do is they'll negotiate your debt down to 50%. How many of us knew that? Did you know that? Did you know that? That's right. That's right. All it takes is a simple letter, simple phone call to your debtor or to the person that you owe, and a letter is sent out, and you can negotiate your debt down to 50%. I don't know, you might owe $1,000, but it might be very beneficial if you only pay $500. Sometimes they'll go lower, $300, right? So this is a tactic that you can use as well as to negotiate and pay off some of the debts that you own, right? And what's the fifth step to credit repair? Well, you destroy, right? It's like building a building. The first thing you're going to do is what? You're going to destroy the land. You're going to mess the land up. You're going to grade it up. You're going to tear it up, right? And then you're going to dig. Okay? And then after you destroy that land, what do? You build up from there, right? It's a build and destroy type of thing, right? That's right. So you want to build new credit. Now, a lot of my clients come to me and they think that just disputing their credit is the only thing that you have to do. This is not so. This is not so. You can dispute your credit all day long and still stay at the 550, right? So you have to take the opportunity to build positive new credit, right? New credit. In other words, if you got a low credit score and maybe you don't have enough credit to get you a unsecured credit card, get you a secured credit card. I like self-lenders. Self-lenders act both as a lender and both as a credit card, so it's a double whammy, right? It helps you as well, right? Build positive new credit, right? Another thing you can do, did you know that you can report your rent, your mortgage, Netflix, your gas, things of this nature, you can report it to the credit bureaus for on-time payments. What does this do? Well, what was that one big number, right? The length of credit, right? How long you had credit, right? That was 15%. It helps you with your credit history. You've been in that house for 5 years, paying this man, paying your landlord. You should get some kickback from that, right? See, if you like me, you're tired of giving without receiving, right? But there has been people that's been giving and receiving for all their life, and we didn't know. I know a lot of y'all is like that. Free, I can actually report my rent as an on-time payment. Yes, this can raise your credit score to 45 to 50 points. Again, that's from 550 to a 600. You're going there. And then if you add the Netflix, the gas, and all of that stuff like that, you might actually be at a 680, right? A 680, you can get a car. 680, you can get a first-time home buyer's loan and get your house, right? With a 680, right? Build. While you're destroying, build. Building and rebuilding credit, secure credit cards like I talked about. If you cannot get a credit card, go to your brother, your cousin, somebody in your family that has good credit, and you ask them, hey Jeff, can you add me as an authorized user on your credit card? I know that you have good financial habits, and I'm trying to build up my financial history, and it would mean so much if you could add me to as an authorized user. Now, I don't have to spend no money, right? I just want to be an authorized user. I don't even need a card. Just put me on a credit card, right? It help build your credit tremendously. This is something that you can do that doesn't cost nothing. Now, one thing that you want to make sure is that the person that you want to become an authorized user on their credit or on their credit card, make sure they got good habits too. You don't want to become an authorized user and they making late payments. What is that going to do to your credit? It's going to break it down. It's going to break it down. We don't want that, right? So one of the things that you can do to help build is add yourself as an authorized user, right? Credit builder loans. I mentioned one like Self, right? Self lenders, Kickoff, Chime. These things that you can use to help build your credit and to start you from a secure credit card and work your way up to an unsecured credit card, okay? And the biggest factor of rebuilding your credit is consistency. I know we're in the microwave generation. I know everything is at your fingertips and you want things right now. But let's be clear. You didn't make your credit go down instantly. It took years and months of bad habits and inconsistency and not paying your bills and living above your means. That's what got it there. What only consistency is going to bring it up. Consistency in your good habits, right? Consistency. Let me give you an example of consistency, right? We take stone, for example, right? You can have stone. Now, it'll take maybe the force of some type of machinery or, force of God to crack stone, to bend stone, to alter stone. But if there is a drip on that stone from maybe some water and it just drips on that stone, over time, it will wear that stone away. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of good habits. That's the power of doing it even when you don't feel like doing it, right? So make sure you have a good plan, good credit habits, and anybody can improve with knowledge and action. The thing is that our people perish for lack of knowledge. So we're here. We're going to be here as long as they allow us to be here, and we're going to help our community and those that's watching, our Facebook community, our TikTok community, with this information and this knowledge. It gets deeper. There's deeper plays that you can do that we'll discuss here in the building. We're just going to touch upon it here in Facebook land and on the internet land. But those that are here in the building, we're going to start to build their credit today. That's right. We're going to monitor it, and we're going to work with them for the first month. And we're going to get their credit up to where they need it to be. We're going to draft their letters for them. We're going to even send it out. With all I ask for them to do is just bring the envelopes and the stamps, and we'll get it out for you to the 3 credit bureaus, and we make sure. See, we're here to close the ownership gap. In America, there's a large disparity for ownership. And some of us that know, we're gatekeeping. And some of us that don't know, we're not looking for the knowledge. We're just happy where we're at. Well, if you're not happy where you're at and you want more and you want to do better and you want to own your house, you want that new car, you want to be able to send your kids to school without going broke doing it, you need a loan, maybe your refrigerator went out, maybe you need a new roof, and you need to get your credit repaired. Come here to the Donica building, right? 345 Prince Avenue. Is it Avenue or Street, good brother? 345 Prince Street, and we'll be here in 2 weeks, again, to talk about credit once more. For the people that's in the building, they get a more in-depth. We'll talk more about how to eliminate child support, how to eliminate accounts that went to collection, how to eliminate things that just won't go away, and how to leverage the Fair Credit Reporting Act, how to do that. But you can only get that sauce for free if you come here in 2 Saturdays. What date is that? I know today's the 6th, right? So that would be the 20th, I do believe. The 20th. Is that okay with you, Brother Don? Okay, the 20th. So if you want that free sauce, if you want to know how to get, a lot of us got child support. A lot of us have child support. Now, I'm not saying run away from your obligations. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you don't have to live in purgatory because you might have made a mistake, right? You know, God shows mercy, right? And we got to learn that we are worthy of mercy as long as we're doing the right thing. So if you want to learn how to get that repossession off of your credit, come to the building. That's all I can tell you. You know, so again, brief summary, and then I'll let y'all go. We're making good time. We're about 38 minutes into this. So I'm going to say something so I can do some one-on-ones here in the building. Again, make sure you come here, man. They got snacks. They got, like I said, great coffee, great building, great people, right? Great knowledge, right? Dream big, and you can do anything, right? So number 1, we want to check our credit report for errors. Number 2, we want to pay down our credit card balances. Number 3, we want to request a credit limit increase for your credit cards, right? Number 4, and this is a big one, pay your bills on time, right? Number 5, become an authorized user. Number 6, clear any outstanding debt. That debt that you had from when you went to college, get rid of it. It don't need to be there no more. Go ahead and pay that $10. Don't let your life pass your way because you owe somebody $100, but you smoke cigarettes every day. Or you might go to the bar, or you might do other things that take money away from. Just pay it. Just pay it. Use a credit builder loan, right? Again, Chime, things of that nature. Keep those old credit accounts open. Just pay them. Just keep them open so you can have that credit history. And this is, you know, that's an important thing. All too many times we allow those old accounts to go to collections, and it hurts us, man. It hurts your credit score very bad. Avoid new hard inquiries before you go get that car, before you go get that loan. Make sure that you go to the bank or make sure that you're keeping up with your finances and know that you can afford it. Instead of going in not knowing, get pre-qualified. Get pre-approved. Pre-approved is better than pre-qualified. Pre-qualified kind of means you might can get it, right? Contingent on certain things. How do you get pre-approved? Just go into the bank and ask them, my car is going to be $28,000. I want to know if y'all would give me a loan for that. And they will tell you. And if you're pre-approved, then you can take that slip from the bank to any lender, and they will go on what the bank says, right? So that's one way that, you know, I just dropped the gem. I hope you wrote that down. That's one way that you can limit those hard inquiries when you're going to make those big purchases. Consider debt consolidation. Let me talk a little bit about this. Debt consolidation. Say if all of your debts come up, you got credit card debt, you got old phone bill, old electric bill, and all your debts come to maybe $1,500, right? You can consolidate that, and your payments monthly will be one low payment. That's right, one low payment. So instead of having to pay all $1,500, you might only have to pay $10 a month, right? That helps, right? Because it chops those debts down, right? So make sure you consider about debt consolidations. Again, if you have any questions about debt consolidations, again, get here. Any service, any resource that you need as far as building up personal loans, debt consolidation, building business credit, personal loans, you can get that here in this building. There's resources here for that. And number 11, use a credit monitoring service, right? We all should have an app that monitors our service. If you don't, again, we have a free one here in the building, okay? Now, if there's no questions here, I want to bid everybody a good day. Remember, we are here for you, but we're only as good as the people that use us, right? So make sure anything that has been done here in this building, whether it's collecting items for the less fortunate and underserved, or whether it's credit, or whether it's just the who's who of our community, I'm asking you and I'm challenging you to support, right? Because that support matters. One thing that I love about this initiative here is that I don't believe that the people are getting paid for it. I believe that the kids that are here that's working and things of that nature, and some of the elders, but the people, they're sacrificing their time, their efforts, and their space just for you. Just for you. So make sure you come. And let me give you this tool, and then I'm going to end it, okay? I know I told you I wouldn't be long, but I got to be strong. And I got to make sure I give you some salt. So here's some salt on credit building, okay? Make sure you write this down. Get out your pen and piece of paper. When you're rebuilding, how many trade lines do you need to build a strong credit, right? Trade lines are things that are that affects your credit, right? Things like credit cards, installment trade lines, the authorized user, the store credit card. Some of y'all like JCPenney's, some of y'all like Lowe's. These things can help you, right? And some alternative trade lines like Experience Boost and things of that nature. Like I said, report your rental thing. So when you build, here's the things you want to have. We recommend that you have 2 to 3 credit cards, right? For those who haven't established credit, I'm about to give you some sauce here. Write it down. Number 1, Discover It Secured Credit Card. Very easy to get into. Now, when you get this credit card or these credit cards, this is only a tool. We're not going to go out here and use it like we just won the lottery. All right, that's not what it's for. It's for building purposes only. All right, Capital One secured credit card, Self Visa card. Again, keep the utilization for these cards under 10%. Never over 30%. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to make one simple purchase with these credit cards. You're going to go buy a piece of gum, buy a pair of socks, and you're going to pay that off immediately. When I say immediately. You're going to pay it off immediately, right? Number 1, this established good payment history. Number 2, it keeps your credit account under that 10%, right? All right, and what happens is they're going to start offering you higher limits when you pay it off so quickly, right? Number 2, we recommend 1 and 2 installment trade lines. Now, what's an installment trade line? Installment trade line is like an auto loan, student loans. Now, look, I know that President Trump he came on here and he done brought back student loans. I don't know if you have any student loans, but man, I had student loans. Hampton University, thank you for my student loans, right? But they not really bad things. There's really restoration programs where you might only have to pay $5 for your student loans for 9 months, and then they'll repair the loan and bring the loan in good standing. Well, what does this do? It gives you an installment trade line. It boosts your credit 45 to 50 points just for having a good standing with your student loans, all right? Again, the self-loan. You want to demonstrate the ability to manage all these fixed payments. Lenders want to see that, okay? Number 3, the authorized user trade line. We talked about that, leveraging a user status with your spouse, parent, or family member. Number 4, get you a stored credit card, okay? Amazon stored credit card. Normally are easy to get in. Target cards, Fingerhut cards. Fingerhut. My grandma used to have those little magazines hanging around all the time, and then I used to go in the bathroom, this is no lie, be in the bathroom for an hour looking at this book, right? That same book can help you leverage your credit. It's easy to get in to those credit cards. Fingerhut. Write that down. And last but not least, you want to have alternative trade lines. Again, you want to have your rental karma, your girl credit, your Experience boost. You want to have an ideal credit mix of 3 to 5 active trade lines reporting monthly. So out of all those trade lines, pick 3 to 5 of those and have them revolving. And this will shoot your credit report up to 100 points, okay? So this is a little sauce if you didn't know it. Is there any questions about that? No? Okay. Well, for those, if you did not come to the building, we have a little thing for our people that came in. It's a DIY kit. Now, I know that it's on one page, but this is over $900 worth of game right here. Anytime that you use a credit specialist, you can pay up to $1,000, $1,500, right? If you come and get your credit done here at the Summit Collective, I hope I didn't say it backwards a couple of times. If you come get it at the Summit Collective, then you'll get those prices discounted if you want to use their services, right? But you have to come into the building to get the real sauce, okay? So I just want to say to everybody, first and foremost, thank you to Don Burton and Donica, the business, the Summit Collective, for all the beautiful things they've done. Thank you for those that have chimed in. Thank you for those that came in. Please make sure you get snacks on your way out. Ask questions if you need be. Again, I'm Jamaal Murphy. God bless you, and let's go.